Good evening, good evening.
So casually keep diving into concrete. So
Hey, Daddy. How you doing? Good evening.
Keep losing sleep while driving in the backseat.
Good evening, good evening. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. How are all of you? Come on in here so we can get started.
Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing part. They just keep getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the lower, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a spark. Maybe just a very bitter.
It's Friday, y'all. Some of us were already off due to the weather, but I know some of you had to still work, so I hope your week ended very, very well. Now you're going to enjoy the weekend just the way that you want to, that you need to. I'll give everybody one more minute.
Sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Hey. Feeling like I'm missing part. They just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the lower, I remember what you were.
Come on in and say hi. Say hi. You just stepped into the house. You just stepped into the room. Say hello. Hey, I'm really feeling this one. Okay, y'all. Okay, let me go ahead and introduce myself. If this is your first time joining me on the Girl, You Better podcast, my name is Coach Ronnie B, and I am the relationship and resiliency coach. And what that means is that I help people discover tools that they can use for their mind, body, and spirit so that they show up as their highest self every single day of their life, no matter what life brings to them. Hello? Because life is going to bring you some stuff, right? And so, what I have been doing, this is day 4 of me going live. This is February 4th. And this is Love Month. This is February. This is Heart Healthy Month, Love Month, Black History Month. So I decided to dedicate this month to enriching couples, to enriching people that are looking to be in a coupledom. And so my books, Loving Him from A to Z, Volume 1, and of course, Volume 2, is available on Amazon. And if you check the link, it's in the link. Just click the link and get the book. I have been really enjoying myself as I do this. It's a blessing to me. Like, it becomes a blessing to me, and I get very energetic about it. And even just reading over the material, isn't it something like how you write something and you go back and you read it and you be like, man, wow. Like, some of that stuff has either, manifested, you've repeated, you said it, or you're just like in an aha moment, like, wow, I did say that, or I am living that, or I have experienced that. So this is a wonderful experience for me as well. But let's go ahead and get into it because we're on day D, y'all. And before I begin, of course, little announcement. Okay, so tomorrow at Bailey, Total Bailey Fitness, there's an event that is going on here in Dallas. The Commit Dance Fitness community. I am an instructor We are having an event for American Heart Association for February. So come on out, get a great workout. See when you live, you don't see. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so come on out, get a great workout at 2 o'clock, and you can donate to the link. It's on my page if you want to donate to the American Heart Association. But we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a whole situation. You're gonna get your swexy on. And yeah, just come out and support that if you have time on tomorrow. The weather should be good. And of course, I'm still sipping on tea because I'm still doctoring on myself. But shameless plug, what am I drinking tonight? So I'm drinking the herbal tea concentrate from Herbalife. And yes, I am a distributor of Herbalife because I do believe in this product. And this is great. This boosts your metabolism. It can replace your coffee. It can replace your coffee, y'all. And I got a little collagen. That's good for your skin and your hair and your nails, you know. So anyway, so let's get into it. If you have the book, we are starting on page this evening. And I didn't get to highlight what I wanted to. So hopefully I won't be fumbling through what I did want to read. But let me share, before I get into the book, let me share 5 tips with you that I want to share about discernment. Because some people don't know exactly what discernment is. They've heard the word, you know, maybe they didn't sat in church and they didn't heard a pastor, somebody talking about discernment, or somebody's grandmama or grandfather talking about discernment. But let me go ahead and break that down for you. And I want to give you 5 tips first before we get into the book about discernment. Because Coach Ronnie B does want to educate you as always. Okay, so discernment is the ability to make wise decisions in difficult situations. Hi, thank you for joining me. Discernment is defined as the ability to notice the fine point details, the ability to judge something well, or the ability to understand and comprehend something. Noticing the distinctive details, like let's just say in a painting, and understanding what makes art good and bad. That would be an example of discernment. Okay, or maybe there is something spiritual that you are discerning, and that is information that you should share. That is information that you should tell. But anyway, I think we miss far too many opportunities to have conversations and understand other perspectives, which helps everyone learn. And the truth is, we all just want to be understood. Now, I would just speak for example. I'm just being honest. This is my truth. I don't always want to learn. I don't always want to. I just want to get to the meat. I want to get to the chase. I want to get just, okay, what we talking about? Okay, what we need to do? Okay, is the problem resolution? Okay, boom, bam, boom. Okay, now let's move on. But sometimes learning is going to take patience. Actually listening to somebody is going to take a little patience. And so that is the area that I continue to grow in. And I'm just being honest. Because the most important thing is for 2 people, especially in a marriage, that you understand each other. If you don't understand each other, then you're on 2 totally different pages, like all the time. And it continues to build to where like y'all can't even talk no more. And that's a very, very sad place to be. But let me tell you something else. So discernment is not an easy skill to learn. It takes time and patience and a desire to understand ourselves and others. Sometimes we don't want to understand ourselves. Sometimes we just want to say, well, that's just the way that I am. I hear that reply. I hear that from different people, you know, all the time. Well, that's just the way I am. Do you understand why you are that way? Do you care to understand why you are that way? Or are you just okay with that's just the way I am? Because if you're with somebody that's just the way I am. there is blockage. There is blockage. And that needs to be removed in order to not only understand their partner, but they have to understand themselves. And if you can't even understand yourself, then you surely can't understand somebody else, because you're going to get somebody else wrong because you're getting yourself wrong. Anyway, that's a whole nother live. Once again, I will move on. It's much easier to jump to conclusions based on our own experiences and assumptions. But mastering discernment is key to building inclusion. Nobody wants to be left out. Nobody wants to be clueless. Nobody wants to be left assuming. Y'all all know what they say about assuming. It makes out of you and me. Okay? So one thing you can do, okay, and I'm going to be quick tonight because it's Friday, and y'all want to put y'all feet up and relax and have y'all adult beverages, or y'all just whatever you do on Friday. You want to light your fireplace, you want to turn on your favorite series, like whatever you want to do. You grown, it's your business. Okay, but number one, pay attention. Pay attention to your emotions. When we notice how we feel, we can begin to discern why we're feeling what we're feeling. What does the behavior represent? And is it really wrong? Or is it just different from how we do things? So, for example, I will tell you all, okay, so there's a business that I still operate, I still have, but I've kind of put it on the back burner because there are more pressing things that I would like to put out there as far as services. But this was a product. It's a twisted cheesecake. I still take orders for it. I still make the cheesecakes. But my business partner, which was my hubby, or is, we're just doing different things right now. But we were looking for a building. We were looking for a storefront. We had been doing DoorDash and Uber Eats, sending out the orders and taking special orders. But, we thought about, okay, what if we have a storefront? Well, there was a storefront that was perfect in retrospect. It used to be an ice cream cone. It was an ice cream cone shaving place, something. And aesthetically, it looked great. But there was something brewing in my spirit at the time. And our commercial realtor, she's great. She was an attorney. So she understands all the language. There was something in my spirit that said, don't take this deal, Ronita. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, that's my gut talking to me. Like, don't take this particular deal. Don't do it. And so I debated. I was like, oh, Lord. I was like, okay, so I have to tell my hubby that we shouldn't take this deal. He gonna wonder why. He gonna ask why. But there was something that I was discerning in my spirit that was saying this wasn't going to be a great deal for us. That there was something along down the road that was going to come that wasn't going to be good for us. And I rely on my gut quite a bit, but sometimes it's scary. And I've told this story before. I'm very in tune. Okay. There has been times where I knew somebody was going to die before they died. It's happened more than once, probably about 3 times. Now, don't y'all be DM, in my man. Did you have a dream about me? No. It's happened to me 3 times in this lifetime, more recently. And it was a very scary thought. Maybe it was something that just prepared me to get ready to, I don't know, release that person and to love on them and celebrate them for the time that we had them on earth. And there's been some other things where I knew something was going on in the spirit, because it's because of what I could see, not with my naked eyes, but with my spiritual eye. And I'm not going to go into all that because y'all might think that's a little, spooky or whatever. But I've learned to accept that is something that God has put in me. And if I need to share it, then I will. But many times I can see something coming down the road ahead of time before it even gets here. And so that was a very hard discussion to have, because we were ready to do business. And he didn't understand. But I appreciate the fact that he respected what it was, and we were able to move on or move forth with that. Now, number 2, understand context. Too often I hear people getting upset over things that they are taking completely out of context. Now, understanding context means that we understand the concepts and language being used. Now, does it make those concepts or language right now or then? So, give yourself a teaching opportunity. When you're talking with your husband, give yourself a teaching opportunity. Rather than trying to ban them, rather than trying to talk about them in your head at the time of whatever that is going on, try to understand the context. Like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but where are you coming from? Because right now what you said is about to upset me. You're choosing violence on this day. But take the opportunity to understand the context of what the situation was, what the question was, what the reply was. You got to get some understanding before you pop off. And we can pop off, ladies. We can. We're the pop off queens. Nobody do it like us. Number 3, I wish I was able to see the messages, but okay. I promise comments. I promise I will go back to the comments and read everything that everybody is saying. I just don't know how to get these on here. Anyway, I'm just real, y'all. I'm just real. I have to be real. This is real life. Number 3, ask yourself, is it true or is it just true for me? Is it true or is it just true for me? So there's a difference between actual truth and personal truth. Personal truth comes from, again, our experiences, which may or may not align with the actual truth. And personal truth comes from our experiences, which may or may not. Okay, I just read that. Anyway, it's human nature to unconsciously assume. It's human nature to assume. And if it's true for me, then it's true for everyone else. It should be true for you, husband. It's true for me. It should be true for you. What I'm feeling should be true for you. What I see should be true for you. That's not always the case. It's important to remember that we all have different experiences that lead to our different perspectives. Number 4, widen your circle. And I'm in a season of doing that. I am in a real season of doing that. And I'm loving widening my circle. And I'm not afraid to, because again, I have discernment. I know someone will like, no, those are my 2 friends. Those are my only 2 friends. And that's it. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Do y'all all think alike? Y'all all have the same knowledge, right? Or whatever. But anyway, widening your circle, let me tell you what this can do. This can help a lot with answering the question to number 3. We tend to hang out with people who are just like us, right? So, we have more data to discern that there are both good and bad people in our group. Okay. But when something bad happens with somebody outside of our usual circle, and that is the only interaction we've had with that someone from that other group, we tend to all of a sudden look at the entire group as bad, and which simply isn't true. Instead, it's our data that is limited. It's the data that is limited. Opening your circle can give you a better understanding of possibly your marriage. I encourage everybody to have a marriage mentor. I encourage everybody to have somebody that is iron, that will sharpen your iron. Just that, just you have to get around people that can give you a more broad um broad perspective on life in general, because it may help you understand what's going on, even with your own spouse. And so sometimes that's having a talk, that's having, while you network, because I believe in networking. While I network, I really try to get a piece of of something that they usually maybe wouldn't share, or they're just inviting. I don't know. I'm that type of person where you can meet me, and before long you may be telling me your whole story. That's why I'm a certified mental health life coach. um there's just a comfort about me, and I'm okay. I'm not boasting, I'm just saying that's who I am. um but anyway, yeah. So with networking with other people, you can get a broader perspective, and sometimes you can mash that up with what you're thinking, your limited thinking. So number 5, practice a better response. Can we practice a better response instead of getting angry when you see a behavior that is different from yours, or hear something that you would deem like offensive, like a simple, can you help me understand, like I said earlier, that can help diffuse conflict and be the initial step towards learning and resolution. Practice a better response. And it's so crazy because sometimes I would choose the other response. Like, it's so important for me for you to know what it is that I'm truly thinking before I get understanding. I'll go ahead and I'll say it. And then after we've had this long discussion, because now people, now we're feeling some type of way, I would say, you know what? I thought about not saying that. And the question to me is, why'd you say it? Well, I felt like it needed to be said. Who else is like that? Sometimes you choose death. Sometimes you just like, you know what, forget it. I got time. Come on. But we need to do better at our responses and try to avoid that. And remember, the origin of what God has put together, let no man put asunder. That expression comes from the Bible, okay? And it appears in Matthew 19:6. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. That means defending. That comes to my word defending. Okay, and then I'll read some little excerpts from the book. Um, when you defend, the way that you defend is by using discernment. You want to defend your marriage. You want to defend the integrity of your marriage. And marriage complements you. It doesn't complete you. Marriage complements you. It doesn't complete you. It complements. So when we talk about something that's complementary, it's extra. It's in addition to you, correct? And so when something is in addition, sometimes you may not understand what the addition is, what the addition is for. And sometimes it's for it's designed for you to grow in certain areas of your life. Like I say all the time, marriage will teach you about yourself. It will teach you about yourself. It will teach you about patience. It will teach you about anger. It will teach you about problem solving. It will teach you about how loving you are. It will teach you about your communication style. It will teach you 24/7, 365. But marriage is purposeful. So you have to protect the purpose, okay? And we must guard our marriage so that the outside world cannot separate. We must protect the core, the love between husband and wife. All right, so let's go to the book real quick. Day D, discernment and defend. Our homes can be infiltrated. This is I always start each chapter with my own personal quote or thought. And this says, our homes can be infiltrated slowly, and before we know it, we are surrounded by several attacks. What that means is that you can never sleep on the job. You can never sleep on the job. You can't afford to sleep on the job. Now, just talking about it generally, women have an innate ability to sense things that no man can. And I believe that because we carry humans, because we bake humans, there are certain things that we can just pick up on, quite naturally, because it's something going on in our body, and we sense it. Okay, so what I wanted to say about this. Okay, so our homes can be infiltrated slowly, and before we know it, we are being attacked on every side. It is ultimately the husband's responsibility to keep danger at bay by his physical strength and also his nature to protect. Correct? Okay, but it is up to men to allow God to help keep themselves and their wives covered through the continuous renewal of their mental strength every day. Mental strength, baby. There's a mental strength that your husband has to acquire if he doesn't have it already, or has to have in order for things to continue to operate. Now, of course, the attacks can be like infidelity, lust. It can translate into unhealthy desires, greed, domestic abuse, and some things that even go beyond the physical. So some things are emotional and psychological and can be brought on by either party. Now, these tend to break down communication and can transform that loving husband into a cold, non-present roommate. Feeling like a roommate sucks. Feeling like a roommate with your spouse, you're always in a place of want. And it doesn't make sense for anybody to ever feel alone when somebody is there. But it happens. So, these are all predators that seek to devour and consume our marriages. If this happens, husband and wife are just coming and going, and months may pass by while they are ignoring the big, funky, and invisible elephant defecating on the living room floor. Just coming and going. That elephant is getting funky and funkier because he just pooping, and the pile is just building. Now I use that in that analogy because you can see, we've all been to the zoo. We all been around the elephants, and they stink, right? That stuff stank. Our stuff can begin to stink in such a horrible way But anyway, to discern is part of the due diligence that comes along with the marital package. And I've always been one for being proactive rather than reactive. I'll say that again. I've always been one for being proactive than reactive. You have to be proactive instead of reactive. It's called damage control. In my opinion, it is always better to be on the prevention side of the spectrum versus the crisis control, followed by the healing side. This is probably about 4 or 5 lives that I just mentioned right now that I could discuss and talk about. That could take, and this stuff can take years of cleaning up and still have collateral damage. But anyway, let's see, what else did I want to share really quickly? Okay. Now we can sense the hidden agenda of maybe somebody else, maybe your husband's friend, that's a guy, could even be a female. Okay, like we can see things coming, and we'll try to warn babe, look, I think you need to watch out for that one. That one does not have your best intentions at hand. Or you know what? She looked at you a little bit too long. Or whatever that it is. Like we can pick up on that stuff. And for many men, they're not, they're not operating in that manner of like threats. But I think as women, like we can just pick up. It's like we have this radar. Oh, that friend gonna be bad for you. Oh, he gonna put you in debt. No, you don't want to go to lunch with her. Don't go to lunch with her. I'm telling you, babe, don't go to lunch with her. And getting, and the thing is, getting your husband or your spouse to buy into what you're saying, sometimes that's hard because they be, man, you just jealous. Man, you just tripping. That been my homie since we were 7 years old in the second grade. Man, that's just my coworker. She married herself and she got kids, and but we picking up on stuff. We're picking up on stuff, and most times we're not wrong. There's a lot of times where I haven't been wrong. There's a lot of times where I know my friends haven't been wrong. There's a lot of times where I know my sisters. There's a lot of times where my mama has not been wrong about her daughters. And it's because women have the gift of intuition, and it's a little bit keen, it's a little bit sharper. And so our discernment is our best way of warning, of warding off potential harm. So anyway, I'm going to say that the best way to defend our marriages is with constant prayer. That is the best method that we can ever use, because sis, let me tell you right now, he doesn't have to know everything you think about. Trust me. I have been that whiny wife that either nagged or begged or pleaded and cried, but to no avail. But if anything, I was looked at as being crazy. But see, in that prayer closet, not only in the prayer closet, but actually taking certain action that shows, you know the old saying, I can show you better than I can tell you. Sometimes it has to be shown, and sometimes it has to be prayed about. Amen. Anyway, so some questions that I didn't read the whole chapter, so if you want the book, go and get it. But some questions that I have: when you sense that something is out of balance with your spouse, what is your initial reaction, and what approach do you use? Please, I hope you don't accuse. I hope you don't. I hope you aren't the one that throw throw out accusations. I hope not. Okay. Number two, do you ever get a gut feeling that something is wrong and do you speak up about it? Number three, are you comfortable with constructive confrontation to ward off a potential problem? Number four, list some ways that you are to protect and defend your marriage with your God given gift of a womanly intuition. Number five, how often are you listening to the nonverbals around you, behaviors and such? Number six, can you tap into the sixth sense and trust what your spirit reveals without question? All right, so as in every chapter, I always end with a prayer. And so this prayer goes like this: Heavenly Father, sharpen my discernment by giving me more of your spirit. Let the spirit reside in me and aid me daily. Let the spirit allow me to see people the way that you see them, but also be keen enough to know my husband in a supernatural way so that I can also be a watchful eye for him. Let me always defend our marriage, even in times of turbulence, because my vow to you, God, means more than to any ear that heard it. I open my heart to you so that you can put in it what needs to be there and prune anything that does not belong. Cover our union, God, in truth and in integrity. May any person with any hidden agendas that are unfruitful towards our marriage be exposed. Amen. These are intentional prayers. These are very, very intentional prayers. I can't tell y'all that enough. Um, and let me make sure that I will make this broadcast public once again, because for some reason it only goes to my friends, and I know some of you just really, really want to share this out, and I appreciate you for wanting to share this out, because, like I said, even if it doesn't help you, it's gonna help a family member, a colleague, a cousin, uh, somebody's sister and brother-in-law. It's gonna help somebody, daddy. It's gonna help somebody. I'll just say that. So I will go ahead and surely make this public. I'm sorry. Be multitasking and doing everything at one time. I need an assistant. I'm getting to that place where I need to go on Fiverr and I need to find me an assistant, y'all, because it's rough out here in these social media streets. And when you are trying to handle that's look let me put up the violin. I'm just gonna put up the violin right now. But if you're an entrepreneur, you already know. Pretty soon you get to a place where you're like, you know what? I have to delegate certain tasks to certain people because I just want to be good in what I do. I just want to show up. I want to give great messages. And I just want to sit everywhere where it needs to go, and that's it. So, yes, Fiverr, or hey, if you know somebody, let me know, because that's just where I'm at right now, juggling several things. To God be the glory. But anyway, you all have a good night. Thank you so much, LinkedIn. First time I figured out how to connect you to Instagram. Thank you for watching. Facebook, YouTube. God bless. Have a great night. Tomorrow. Oh, so tomorrow, of course, we're going to be talking about. Tomorrow. Here, let me go to my table of contents. That's much easier. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to talk about elegance versus the ego, and talking about emotions. Chapter E. This is great stuff, y'all. Y'all need to tap in. Y'all getting some good free nuggets up in here. But it ain't gonna be free in these workshops that's coming out. So y'all have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, now I see the comments.